Hey guys, thanks so much for joining me on my channel. This is all really new, so a lot of this is just kind of thrown together. This particular video that I've got up though today, it's a really great conversation. This initially was supposed to be just like this red pill conversation where we kind of get into some topics and we just kind of do this as a more private conversation. But the way it started was really wonderful and it turned into this whole like manifesting your future kind of through the story of YouTube. And now I'm still just starting out, but really the message is still very much the same. And we just wanted to give a lot of examples on how powerful and how important it is that you focus on exactly what it is that you want. And, so I just wanted to kind of give you a brief overview because we kind of just jump right into this. But thanks again for joining me. This is Waken People of Earth, and I welcome you. And please make sure if you like it, like and subscribe. I will be putting in a lot of new content, so there's going to be a lot coming, so stay tuned for sure. And
I have a job, and then this thing I really want to do, Sound Science Soul, is like the thing I'm doing on the side that I'm, trying to develop. And I was like, I just need to, like, every day when I get up, that's my job, and the other stuff is the side stuff. And so I've
absolutely.
set out like a really detailed kind of like timeline project outline of things that I need to accomplish, so that I just like in I was getting overwhelmed too because there's a lot of things I want to do. And so what happens is I have like, four things that I want to do. And I end up kind of like working on one of those here, and the other one here. And I just set out like a timeline of like which one I should do first. So I'm just hitting all of those like to-dos for that. And anyways, so I've just been more
Yeah.
busy with that.
Well, no, that's smart. And that's exactly it. I mean, that comes down to kind of some of the basics of, law of attraction,
Yeah.
you know, um, and that's really crucial on any of our success. And, for people to kind of realize really how powerful that is. And it's not just a clever way of saying, this is part of being successful. No, this is like, if you want to call it, this is science, you know, that meets, um, meeting like reality. And like, there is something to this. This is quantum systems. I mean, this is energy, frequency in motion. This is literally exactly the, life hack, if you want to call it, like how to get what you need or want in life. And I
Yeah.
would even say just need, because the needs are going to show up for you. And I think that's part of the other understanding is understanding, put, like you're saying, like wake up as though this is my job. This is what I want to do. And I've already got it. Like knowing that it, like we were talking today, like it's already there. Like I'm already there. What I'm
Yeah.
doing right now is I'm just figuring out how I got there. Right.
Yeah.
And, and putting that in motion and then realizing what happens is you're moving yourself in that direction that you've already reached. And then anything you need will show up to get you there because it's already happened. And you're just trusting like, oh, I don't know where this is going to come from, but boom, it's right there.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and it is, I truly feel that. And I know that when I'm off, and I'm not feeling like I'm in the right energies or holding the right space, and I've kind of fell off that vibration. I feel it, and then I see what's happening around me, and
Mhm.
then I'm like, and I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm like kind of kicking myself in the ass. I'm like, all right, well, this isn't working, dude. Like this isn't what I want. So once again, it's like a reminder, like I need to align with what it is that I do want, and remember that it's happened. I just need to align to it, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because that's how I feel right now about YouTube.
Mm.
Um, it's really weird because I mean I've been watching YouTube a while, and kind of the old version of me would be easily overwhelmed. I'd come up with all kinds of reasons and excuses why this is challenging or whether or not it's gonna be successful. I
Yeah.
could come up with a million. There's tons of stuff
Yep.
out there.
I'm
People are
doing
way
some of
more
that.
advanced. I'm way too late. I'm too old. Just I can make up a million excuses, and all that really does is just put obstacles in my way that don't even really exist until I put them there. And instead, it's weird because it's like once we started taking these steps, Liz and I, and I have Liz, thank a lot for this too, because she's just very action oriented, and um, we just kind of did, even when we first started with some of the YouTube stuff, and it wasn't much to it. I mean, we were just putting it out there because we're in quarantine, and I wasn't sure even then yet. I didn't have that energy yet. I didn't align with that purpose. And then when I woke up the day that I was like, all right, I'm done being a loaf and this rut that I'm in, and I'm ready to achieve this. It's like almost like in that moment, I knew that I've already, like I started getting the excitement, and then we're making, every time I think about making videos, and then we start, all of a sudden the equipment starts showing up. I didn't know we were going to get all this stuff, and some might say, well, that's kind of stupid during the time that we're in. But I'm just like, I don't know. It's just, I just feel like this is the right time. These things are all going to assist me in what it is, like you're saying, I'm living it as though I've already achieved it.
Yeah.
And then everything that the challenges or things that I think of, the research that I'm doing, and, and I'm watching one of these guys on, by the way, I would highly recommend him, off of Think Media. They're doing a lot for boosting YouTube people, like helping to, how you can get 1,000 subscribers, and they're giving all these tips. And it's a lot of the things he says. It's like, it's funny because I'm literally so on the path or brainwave of what he's saying. Like I'm just thinking about all these things. I've been breaking down this, like, like I just need to make videos. And that's what he says. He's like, just make videos, and then get consistent. Once you get them out there, he says, he'll say do at least one a week,
Mm-hmm.
because that's builds that too. But it's like, just make videos. And that's what I've been feeling like. I don't even really care whether I know all the equipment yet. I just need to start making videos. Like I said before, like library, I'm get them all together and then do. So he says that. And then there was another thing he said. Um, I can't think of it now, but he's made a couple examples, and I'm just like, dude, it's so weird because I'm totally like processing that same conclusion to things. And I haven't for a moment thought like I'm in the wrong field, or I shouldn't be doing this, or this isn't going to be successful. Instead, I'm like, this is exciting. I can't wait. How great this is. And I'm having fun. And, what a great path this is, and then it's like, man, I'm seeing all these possibilities, and I've got ideas, and now I'm writing them down, which I normally never do. I mean, gradually they're baby steps for me, but I'm starting to put things into action. And that's kind of how it started too, is I just started writing stuff down. Liz had a talk with me one night, and we're bringing up how I hadn't even used that planner. And I'm like, you're right, and so it was like that next day when I kind of woke up to the directional change or shift, and I was like, all right, I'm ready. I'm gonna write in this thing. So I just started writing down my ideas again, and I had some ideas from last month, which I only wrote in it one time that month, and then it was just blank. And but then I was like, whatever, at least those ideas are in there. And then I wrote down a bunch more, and I brought over the ones from the previous month, and it's like everything's just been falling into place, one after another,
Yeah.
right? Didn't know how all this was going to happen. Didn't know, how, and the stuff that I'm learning, like I've never done any of this before. I've never done video editing. I've never done a podcast. And I remember before I struggled with it, even before, and I was kind of reaching out, I was like, yeah, you've done a podcast. Like, how do you, and like, it seemed all so overwhelming. Like even YouTube was like a scary thing to step into. I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. And like, what do I post on here? And I just want to make sure my videos get taken, and it's like, I'm overthinking it instead of just putting it out there. And then let's just learn it, like, let's just
Yeah.
start doing it, and I'll figure it out. And if something gets taken down or I don't do something right, fine, lesson learned, build from that, and move on, so yeah, definitely. That's funny. That is it's good that you're getting that same message,
Well, and it's like it's not like I wasn't doing it in other ways, but it's like taking it up another level. Like,
Right.
okay, like I could actually act like I'm doing this, or like, and I am doing it. That's the thing. But to look at it instead of, because we place so much emphasis on like what is making money, so like instead of putting that emphasis on like this is where my efforts really have to lie, and I have an opportunity because I have money coming in anyways, from unemployment. So it's like, why not? Like, what do I have to lose at this point?
Totally.
Why
Like
not just be doing it? So,
exactly. Right.
but it's
Liz, you
funny.
agreeing with that?
It's,
Yes, and I
yeah,
think
good.
that when we do things for money, we put a limit on it, on how much abundance can come in. And I was talking to Marie about that the other day because she wants us to do some promotional things for some people in the spiritual community. And I want to do it just because I enjoy those products and services and I want to share it with people. And I told her, look, I'm not going to put a limit on the exchange of energy. I'm going to let them donate what they feel like they want to donate to us, because at the end, we're working with good people. You know, like, that's why we're recommending them, is because we really believe in them, and it doesn't really matter on a monetary level what that is. But I find when we don't put a limit on it, we tend to get a lot more than we would have asked for initially.
Yeah, and you're, you know, what's great about that too, is that it's like we value it, and as long as we value it, right, and then that goes into exactly what we're doing. So now our passion, our authenticity, the value of the information, you know, and we are doing this because, you know, one, we like it, and two, we want to share and help others genuinely. Like this is it's a very genuine, you know, goal that we, you know, and we really enjoy it, and because of that, it's received like that. And then, you know, that was one of the other things that's been coming up in those videos that I've been watching, those, you know, the help that they've been putting out there. It's the same thing they're saying, and they're not necessarily talking from a woo-woo standpoint like, you know, a lot of our topics are. They're just saying that this is how it works. Are you, you know, think about your audience. Are you really considering your audience? You know, are you doing something for others? Because that's, you know, I find that interesting that even in what I would call even more of a mainstream mindset, they're recognizing even on that system in this, you know, business field, if you'll call it that, that success is still going to come from service to others, right? How are you going to get somebody to subscribe and like to your channel? Be authentic. You know, if you can, you know, like he says, one option to get yourself out there is solve a problem, right? But I would even just say, you know, just find your passion, and people will connect to that passion. Because I feel like passion is what really defines our authenticity. When we are living in that and aligning to that, like, you know, that energy and that happy path, if you want to call it, that's passion, right? And that aligns you to exactly what it is that you want or are meant to do. And others, they see that as, you know, this isn't just somebody who's trying to make money off of me, or somebody they're just out there making a buck. They see this as like, this is good information, man, and they really know what they're talking about, or they really like this, you know, and that energy is shared. Right. And that's what we know too, is that energy has no boundaries. So whether we're sitting in different locations and people are watching it on the screen, which kind of came back to our other discussion, we were talking about the influence of, you know, videos and stuff, you know, and music. It is all very relative in that sense that we're affecting others based on us and what we're presenting and how we present ourselves to others. Right. So then it's like, how do you want to present, you know, what is it you want? So you do something, and you do start things that you like, and that what you know, because that's how you're also going to find passion in what you do, and also, you know, find excitement in that. But then it's like, okay, and then how can this help others? How am I using this in a way to assist others? And Liz is right. Like that in itself has value to it. And because we hold value, because we value those things, others that are in similar vibration and mindset are also going to value that as well. And they're going to be attracted to us. People that don't value those things or are aligned with other stuff, they just won't even watch your stuff, or they, you know, and that's fine. That's fine. Right. Like if you can get somebody new who may not stumble upon you and this isn't normally their thing, sure. Great. You know, that's awesome. But if you don't, that's no problem, because there's plenty of people that are out there. And like he was, you know, one of the points he was making today is there's like billions of people watching right now, like on YouTube.
Yeah.
Billions. So you're looking at like, you know, this, you know, so many millions of people spread out, you know, millions and billions of people. So you've got this on there. So there's plenty of people, you know, we're going to connect to plenty of people. And no matter what it is that you want to do, you're going to attract. And just because there's 100,000 people making content or videos, or even 1 million. That's not enough to cover billions of people who are interested in all types of things, and are looking for all kinds of information. So, it's cool because I think the three of us are all kind of in that same alignment when it comes to trying to grow that, that system, grow that business in there. And for me, I don't even see it as a business right now. Right. And that's the other best part, right? When you find something that you truly enjoy, it's not really work. I mean, there's work to do. And yes, you do have to grind. And, as he says, you got to make sure you're committed and you're doing what you need to do to get it out there. But it sure is a heck of a lot more fun and feels a lot less like a job than when I'm doing something that I feel like I have to do, or I'm just trying to make a buck. I'm surviving. Now I'm living, and then the universe is helping me to survive.
Well, and you were saying earlier about you didn't say it in these terms, but basically what you were saying was not worrying about the how.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I'm kind of working through right now too, because I'm going to start this podcast and it's kind of shifted in what it's going to look like. But my last podcast, I had an editor and he was really cheap because I didn't want to mess with editing, and I tried to do it and it was really frustrating. And so it worked better to just hire someone. With the new podcast though, I'm looking at a lot more expense in hiring someone because there's a lot more pieces to it and this whole thing. So, but I decided I have to not worry about that how. Like I'm going to either learn how to do it or those pieces will come together somehow but it's like I can get really focused in on that piece versus just following the idea, because it can feel really overwhelming. Like, well, how am I going to do this? So.
Oh, absolutely. And that's key.
Yeah.
Don't worry about how.
Yeah.
Like everything else that you need or whatever that is, that looks like, it'll show up. They say like when the student's ready, the teacher will show up, will come. So the same thing goes for anything that you're working on and doing in your life, right? Like whatever, that's what the universe does, is it brings you what you need. It's not always what you want. Right? So that can come in a lot of different ways, which is also why it's important that you align with what it is that you want in a very positive, energetic way, so that you get those things that support what you want, and not just all the other life lessons that are, you're struggling through, right? But also, if those things do show up, deal with them so those things don't have to come up again, right? And be okay with that. Like, oh, okay, like I thought this is a little harder than I thought, but I know that if I do this and this, it's going to help me get through this. And then, I'll be able to move on and I can move past that. And when you do, it's like next time it shows up, it's like, nah, no problem, because I've already dealt with this, right? I've already moved through that. So again, coming into like just aligning with what it is that you want. I think what you said earlier is perfect. Like, do it as though you already are doing it. Like it's happened. This is already a job I've already created, right? Like you've already created the podcast. It's already there. It's already out there. The brand is there, right? What you're doing right now is you're just figuring out how you got there. And that's that Matrix quote that just never gets old to me. And it's been showing up so often recently, where he's like, how can I make a choice? You already know what choice I'm going to make. And she's like, you're not here to make the choice. You've already made the choice. You're here to find out why you made that choice.
Yeah. Zeke was just talking about that the other night.
Yeah, I think Sommer, if this is something that Sister Friend Marie kind of shared with us too, like how are we going to pay the rent at the center, right? Like we're a new business.
Yeah.
How are we going to do this? And I've never really focused on like the how, just more so of we're guided to open it. This is our passion. This is our purpose.
Yeah.
And then everything else will figure itself out. And I will say, like a couple months ago, she had said, because I was like, yeah, we need to manifest, right? Manifest is coming to us. And she had said, allow the abundance for the overhead costs and everything to be separate from bringing in the clients that you need to help. So don't necessarily say, hey, we need to help X amount of clients to be able to pay our bills, right? allow that to be an open source of its own, to receive on its own our bank accounts, right? And I didn't really have a whole business plan on how we're going to make a lot of money. We didn't really know what we were going to do when we opened it, but we just knew that we were supposed to open it. This is our passion. And I'm telling you, and James can attest to this, he's probably got more money flowing in his bank account right now faster than he's had maybe in his whole life. I don't know, you know, but it's coming in, and it's coming in, you know, like it just, all he's been working on is abundance and unblocking, like removing himself from blocking abundance, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And just going from what he needs. And I really think, you know, you're onto something. You have a passion, you do really well. And if you just put it out there, like James was saying, that you'll connect vibrationally. And if you just allow, it doesn't necessarily have to be your viewers or people who subscribe to your thing. If you just allow your bank account to be open for abundance, however it comes, it'll come in the strangest forms. And the same thing, if you don't want to edit, like I don't really want to do the marketing and cold call everybody. And I was like, okay, in January I wrote, well, in my little law of attraction planner, I wrote that I need to work on reaching out to Des Moines Register, work on corporations and doctors' offices. And I didn't really have to work on them. They came to us. They just like walked in our door.
Nice.
It was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it happened too. And that was a great bit of advice as well from Sister Friend Marie, of course. I think when she said that, you know, don't limit like how or what it looks like when you get right. Like we think a certain way. The old business model is this. It's like, okay, I need this much money to survive each month. I'm going to sell off this much product to make that. I have to make this much money each week. It's going to come from my services or my retail or whatever it is, right? So what you're doing is you're specifically limiting how you will receive that money. And to me, like what I'm thinking, what I'm working towards right now, what I really want to see is passive income. Passive income doesn't have limits. Passive income just works for you, right? It just you just make money. Like, and that to me, that made more sense too when she was telling us this, and Liz, man, she just honed right in on that. And she just, you know, she was like, she's right. This is what we need. You know, we're going to stop thinking that way, and just immediately adapted that. And it's true. It's like, so it doesn't have to come from our basic business model, right? It can come in a lot of different ways. It can show up in all kinds of ways. And just to what your point was, Liz, as far as the abundance that's flowing into me, I would say not my whole life, but I will say it's come way easier. I have more money in my bank account than I've had in the last several years. And I know it's a lot because of what's going on, but it doesn't matter how it shows up. That's the thing. Don't worry about like those details. Just recognize the fact that like things are showing up. I got things just, you know, there's, you know, unemployment or whatever it is. I haven't even had that for a year, you know, and then I was able to reapply. And the universe is just like, don't worry, we got you. Right. And all I had to do was really just clear my mind, like she said, just clear the blockages. And they're just popping, man. Like I didn't, you know, I sold a comic book on eBay and I thought, man, is this even the right time? Because everybody's worried about money. And I thought, well, maybe, you know, again, don't overthink it, right? Because I started to. And it's like, you know what, man, people got some money to spend. They got that extra stimulus. Why not throw it out there and just see what happens, right? Put it out there, boom, $300 made in a week. Holy crap, right? Like one book, right? Like even if that's the only book I sell in this whole, you know, collection, that's still pretty awesome. And I just put it out there. So, and again, it's just letting go, you know, drop the limitations, drop any blockages, just know and it's weird because there's a difference between, you know, it's kind of like wisdom and knowledge, you know, like knowledge, I can learn things. I can read books. I can pick up knowledge, right? Wisdom is the application of that knowledge that just becomes, you know, it just is. Like you know, I'm wise to things, right? Like I just catch on to things. And even though I may not have learned specific, you know, information or details applying to situations, I have the wisdom from experience and from, you know, whatever it is that I have learned. and it works me through that, and I'm able to just solve problems that I never thought I'd be able to solve. You know, we're doing video editing. Liz and I were like, man, we were talking about the other day. We never thought we'd be sitting here doing video editing. That's not something, you know, I didn't take a video editing course, but it's, you know, it's set up so that anybody can do it. There's kids. I saw a video. There's some little girl doing it on her phone. You know, like she's she's doing something on her phone. She's adding animations, and she's just kind of talking about it. And look, and this is, you know, you just do this, and then, you know, I got little animations, and I'm just like, wow, like what a generation, right? And I could get intimidated and be like, man, I don't know, how am I going to keep up with someone? You know what? Forget that, because that's her brain and it works, and that's amazing to watch. But, you know, the other bit of advice that's come up a lot in those videos is it's your brand, right? So no matter how many people are out there doing whatever they're doing or doing what you want to do, they aren't doing it like you. And that's where the real power comes in, because you are in control of that. It really is your reality. You know, like, how do you want to live it? Like, what do you want it to look like? You know, anything that you put in front of you, any blocks, any obstacles, they're yours, nobody else's. You know, I put my own in front of my, you know, in front of me, and Liz is like, why the heck are you making that so hard? Like, why are you, you know, because she doesn't put those blocks in front of her. And then I have to like be like, all right, what am I doing now? Like, you know, is this really working for me? Is, you know, and I have, for me, I made a choice to say, you know, if that's brought up, then I'm going to look at it, and then I'm going to see if I need to make a change. And in most cases I do. Now, in some cases we may have a different vision about things, and that's okay. But that's part of me figuring out and discerning what's my vision and maybe what's Liz's vision. But she has a lot of successful tips, and she knows, she really does know how to manifest those things. And I've been doing it even when I'm not trying. So she has to point it out sometimes, like, do you even realize what's going on right now? Like, do you see what you're, you know, like, she's like, you got all this money coming in, like, wow, you know, and I'm just like, wow, she's right. Like, it's just popping, you know, and it's interesting because we bought all this equipment, right? I still got money coming in. After I bought the equipment, I had more money come into my account, like double. What? And I could have been freaking out, like, I don't know if this is right, you know. And I talked to Liz, you know, about it. She's my partner, so we had to obviously discuss it. But she's definitely open to things, you know, if they make sense. And so she's like, you know, I don't know, we'll try it out, and if we don't, we'll sell it. You know, if it doesn't work, you know. And the moment we got everything, and the first time we hooked everything up, I was like, this ain't going back. Like, this is it. We're in the right. We are in the space that we need to be in, and I'm just, you know, just one more step, and since then it's just been building, you know.
I think I don't know if you've noticed it. From my perspective, though, I feel like the energy isn't as dense.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lighter energy, and it's not so heavy. And I feel maybe that's why it's easier. And I don't know if it's just me ascending, or if it's basically that matrix is coming down, and it's just easier to create our own world. Like, there's less resistance. And I just know right now with the timeline shifting, and I know what timeline we're on now, like, we've shifted into the light timeline to ascend to the fifth dimension. I'm just wondering, James, do you think maybe the density reduction is making everything easier?
I would say definitely. There is a shift in the energy, but I would also say it's going to come in waves. And part of that is because there is a lot of collective shifting going on. So I think as it shifts, we're going to feel like there's going to be times where we're going to transmute all of that energy, and we're going to feel like we do right now. And then there's going to be times where it's going to come in really heavy again because another shift has happened. And once again, we're all, you know, going to kind of, you know, not that it's, again, I think it gets easier. So I do feel, and we're constantly growing and learning as far as what's the best way for us to transmute this, recognizing that, okay, maybe, you know, there's more going on than whatever I'm taking on. It's, you know, it doesn't have to be mine, right? And just transmuting that into something, you know, transmuting easier, and then moving into that more positive light energy or light density a little quicker. So I think we're getting better, and we're gonna continue to get better at it. But I do think we're gonna see like waves, kind of come and go. Like we're gonna see a wave, come in again, and it's gonna feel because and the three of us are pretty aware of the stuff that's like, bottlenecking right now, right? We know, and this being that this is our red pill talk, we know that there is a lot of heavy information out there, a lot of heavy stuff. We're more aware and ready for it one way or another. But we also know that when that hits, and that hits a mass level, there's going to be yet another wave of energy and shifting, and that's going to occur. I mean, let's get real. I mean, especially with the level of this stuff that we know about. Appreciate y'all's wonderful presence and light energy always. And we appreciate all that you are and do. Keep up the good work. Thanks again, guys, for joining us, and look forward to our next meetup. See y'all.